Nisha, Kidina Kishuna, go to human Akatina. She never shoot a little, she neither she neither can ever to don't need them to get about a shimanana. She did, look at it, she make it as she managed, she would, and she won and again, as she named you with human.
Hello, 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 wonderful people. It is season 2 with the Sovereign Divinity podcast. And boy, do I have some amazing interviews scheduled for this season. I hope you're ready to get activated, empowered, inspired. Oh, it's going to be yummy. So, our first interview, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have this beautiful, talented woman with me today in our delicious chat. Larissa Thera. Let me just read a little bit about her so you can have a gist of who she is, and then we're just gonna go from there. So Larissa stepped into her ability as a psychic medium to help others heal their souls following her spiritual awakening in 2018. Understanding that faith and belief are integral to allowing consciousness to transform, Larissa's work with the angelic realm and teams of light to send light and energy, healing, repair, and activate chakras and assist with elevating consciousness. In 2020, Larissa opened a cooperative creative space for spiritual arts. And I love this name, Azura Zen Den. I love it. And the other part is that you're also an attorney. So
Yes,
I love
I'm also
that you,
a special ed attorney. Yeah.
yeah. So I love that you have the both worlds. You know, it keeps us balanced when we have both. So
Definitely.
as you all know, the first part of the season with Sovereign Divinity, we're going to be diving into light codes and light language. And so we're going to be I'm going to be interviewing people to, about their journey, about how they use light codes and light language in their life, in their business, in their relationships, and how you can also tap into your own light codes. And at the end, we'll see what kind of message flows through them. And I'm so excited to see what comes through for all of us. So Larissa, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
So my dear, let's go ahead and start with this. How did you transition from I mean, you didn't transition, but how did you go from attorney and now add in like light codes, light language, that spiritual aspect to it?
Yeah. It's definitely not a turn I was expecting to take in my life. I'm one of those folks that had an overnight awakening. I went through the dark night of the soul, a lot of, some depression that just started really spiraling. And the funny thing was too, in that process, in my depression, I asked spirit, I'm ready. I said, I'm ready. I went to the heart center. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to let spirit or the universe guide me. It was kind of a manifesting mantra. I said it with every feeling I had, right? And then holy crap, things took off. Like that's when, so the depression actually got worse, but the abundance started coming in. And so I was still even kind of struggling with nervousness about receiving the abundance. And yeah, so the thoughts really got very intense. They were repetitive. They were focused on one or two subjects, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And in fact, they actually started getting a little suicidal, and, and I'm a mom with kids, and I was like, no, that's not acceptable. That's no, so I reached out to an old friend, and it was just the right exact person to talk to. And I didn't even know what he was up to. I hadn't talked to him in 8 years. And he's like, oh, you need to meditate. You need to read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I was like, sign me up. So that night I started listening to it on Audible. And, at one point he said something to Eckhart Tolle said something to the effect of, you can just let your pain go. And needless to say, all the pain does not get let go at once, but enough of it was let go that I felt free and amazing and alive. And I realized that I was having the awakening that he described in the book, which was really just amazing. So that was about almost 3 years ago, and it has just been a skyrocket ride. Like, just with, opening up more, doing the shadow work, and having my gifts come online. Like I've had clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance all come fully online pretty much. I'm sure there's more to grow, but that's
Of
all come
course.
online. And yeah, and just kind of like, and I, how do I say this? Like stepping into having belief and faith in myself that these experiences are real, and trusting those experiences and recognizing the importance of that. And also, I think what's been really beautiful too is, we talk about these things as gifts, and they are, but they are, everybody is coded with these gifts. There's nobody on earth who doesn't have them. And so how do we help each other recognize them and use them, right? So that's been a beautiful part of the experience for me, just kind of understanding the importance of belief and faith, and understanding that, wow, we're all awesome, amazing, and unique, and have so much to contribute,
Wow. Yeah. What a journey. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But I love that you said that everyone is encoded with this so-called gifts, what we call them gifts. Like we're all gifted, and our
Right.
gifts might not be the same, but we all have
Mhm.
codes within us that are ready to be expressed, ready to be activated, right? So
Absolutely.
important. So with that said, speaking of gifts, when did the light language and light codes step in?
I definitely, and so I'm one of these folks who definitely feels when I'm getting a download, but I don't receive what the message is exactly. It'll feel like that tingling coming down through the crown, through the spine. I've been getting those for quite a while, and sometimes actually that's part of the claircognizance too. They'll just tell me what they want me to know, or they'll give me an image, and then I started, I work, I'm sure we all do this. We like talk with other readers and other mediums and other psychics and stuff like that. So I was talking with a intuitive nurse actually, and she's like, "Oh, you're going to be learning another language." And I'm like, "Yeah, light language." And so actually when Richard Melchizedek and Jessica Rosalie put up their light language course, I signed up in August, and that's how I stepped into it. What was really cool is the night after the night they did the activation, the first class, sorry, for lack of a better word. In the morning, as I was waking up, I was imagining myself having this conversation with another awakened friend of mine, and we were speaking in light language, but I could translate it into English. And so I was like, oh, it worked. So,
You're like, oh, it worked.
yeah.
Oh, I love that
So,
imagery because that's an image that I've received. And it started with my son because I've always known that children, like what we say that they're babbling, I realized that they're actually speaking a cosmic, like their
oh
soul
yeah.
language.
Mm-hmm.
My son made it very clear. I'm like listening to him, I was like, yeah, this is not babble. Like
No.
this is light language,
Yeah,
language of the
I've even
light.
heard some of my kids' there's one friend of my son's in particular who has autism, and I've heard him just kind of babbling. I think they might call it stimming sometimes, and he's older. He's like 9, but I could hear him, and I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, that's another language. Like,
totally.
right.
Like we're always like it feels like as soon as your codes for light language or when they open up, all of a sudden you realize around you like these codes already exist. They're already being spoken by children, by
Right.
gifted children,
I think,
maybe even
yeah. I think some of the other languages, not the romance languages as much, have more light language embedded in them too. They're much older languages. I am not by
yeah,
any means a linguistics expert, so I'm not going to make any specific examples. But sometimes when you just hear the intonations of different languages, you're like,
yes,
oh, like.
yes.
So yeah, it's
So
really neat to see where it
speaking
shows
of
up.
the different intonations, are you are you someone who, when you're channeling the codes, when you're channeling the light language, or I should say when it's coming through you, are
Mhm.
you channeling like your higher self? Are you channeling like the cosmic language? Are you channeling like, Syrian play? How is that? Where is that coming
Right.
from? Because I know everyone's different.
Yeah, I can sometimes tell who's coming in and sometimes not very clearly. I definitely work closely with the mantis a lot, and I can identify when the mantis comes in. I will see the mantis in front of me, um, in my mind's eye, and I think I've worked. I think I work a lot with the Aurora Guardians and also the Sentinel. Like I get a very serious, elder, authoritative voice that comes through sometimes. And so, like, that's what I think that is. I mean, I think they're all aspects of self or things I'm
Yeah.
closely related to. I don't generally think I pull in a lot of I tend to think that's actually how a lot of us work. I mean, everybody has
Mhm.
their own experiences and so forth, but like I tend to feel like when you're channeling, a lot of times you're pulling in another aspect of self. And we're all
Yeah.
connected, so that's not so far fetched, right? Like we're all
Yeah.
one. I think so. I think you're working with branches that are closely related to you when that happens. So,
Oh, I'm glad that you said that. And I think it's so important for us to understand that the only ones that the beings that we channel, we're able to connect and translate because they are parts of us. Like their codes are
mhm.
in our being. Where,
Right,
it might be like a higher version of you, another dimension of you, but they're
right,
not like a being far away from you that you have to stretch into to channel. Like
right,
most
right.
likely you have a call with them, or
Mhm.
it's your multidimensional self. So that is
Right.
very important for us. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so
Cool.
that's my hot take. And I think
So I know you mentioned the mantis.
yes,
For those people who don't know what that is, like who
sure.
are the mantis?
The mantis are, and I'm going to do my best to kind of use my words to describe this. And for anyone listening, like use your own, you can kind of use your own interpretation or adjust towards what you already know if you know anything about them. They are multidimensional creatures. They resemble praying mantis or bugs, like cricket type bugs, or yeah, they have the kind of that roundish face with the big eyes, kind of like a bug or an insect. And they, in my understanding, they live underground in a parallel dimension or another dimensional level. So you couldn't dig in the ground currently and find them. But or I mean, at least not probably with your 3D eyes. So
Exactly.
like some people may be able to, but
Exactly.
so yeah, what they have told me, and I in my experiences with them, is that they are working to elevate Earth's consciousness. They're working in conjunction with Mother Earth, or so Gaia Sophia, to synthesize her sound, synthesize her energy, and help elevate it. And I actually had a
Yes.
really interesting journey once, where I went underground into their city and met with them. And I met with one in particular who was probably the other aspect of myself. And they had me listen to their sound, like they had me listen to the earth sound that they were synthesizing. And then it was just, it's just pure love, pure beauty, like just amazing. And then we came out of the cave, basically where they were living. It was a whole city. There's a whole bunch of insects in there, but they were wearing clothing and doing stuff, and they had houses. So like, or something like houses. And so we came
Yes.
out of there, and they're like, okay, now you can hear the earth sound like above and how it sounds. And it's same thing, just immense, that, that beautiful, loving energy Mother
Yeah.
Earth gives off. It's just gorgeous. Like, so, and then they actually showed me a healing technique where you create like a golden light bubble within your hands, because like it was very much mimicking the mantis arms. So in between the mantis
Yes.
arms, the beautiful golden light bubble. And we did I was on like a retreat. So like we did a bunch of different things during the course of the week with working with
Yes.
their energy, which was cool. So yeah, so they pop in on me.
Wow.
So
That's incredible. Like
yeah,
all
I
these
think yeah,
galactic. DNA being activated too.
Right,
So
right.
let's go back to light language. How would you define light language or light codes? How would you define it from your perspective?
Mm. So, light codes, I would describe, I have to think about this a little bit.
It's all right.
It's interesting too. I'm going to kind of like, I might come around to this a little bit. I have had some experiences where I've been holding someone's hand, where I can see in my mind's, in the third eye, in my mind's eye, I could see codes being passed in between us. And they were beautiful, like in blue. It was just really gorgeous. And like that to me is like passing of information. Um,
Yes.
and it's encoding. A lot of it has to do, I think, with the encoding of our energy system,
Yes.
which can be translated into whatever is needed, right? Like whether it be information, like information for the mind, upgrades or releases, or clearing or repairing for different parts of the energy system. Sometimes, and like I've kind of mentioned earlier, sometimes we don't know. Light language to me is similar. However, it's definitely more, it's that verbal communication. My understanding is that it comes in through the high heart chakra, or
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the term the interdimensional chakra, because
Yes.
I think that's exactly what we're doing, is communicating
Exactly.
interdimensionally. And it relates to the heart. And then, so I find in my experience, when I'm about to channel light language, I feel it come in through the high heart, and then it starts putting pressure on the throat chakra. And then I feel like I need to express it.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed too is that it's both a combination of actual information that can be translated sometimes into English messages, and also a combination of how how the sounds that we make impact the energy around us and within us. So it's literally like you're coding the air, right? Or coding the energy
Yeah.
around you so the other folks can receive it. That's my experience of it so far. But I'm sure there's more to discover, especially as more of us have upgraded chakra systems and clear some of our
Yes.
density. We're going to really start to experience how the layers of information come in through different types of communication, I
Oh,
think.
I agree. And I love that you mentioned like how yours it comes in through that higher heart and then it builds up in the throat because that's the experience I had with mine.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine I can actually see it as golden code. So
Mm,
for the longest time I've always been able to draw code and
cool.
I
Yeah.
see them. I can just but I didn't know what they were about.
Hmm.
So this is the same thing. I saw the codes coming in. I was like, okay, there's the codes. And this time it just came through my channel, went into my heart, moved into my throat, and it felt like a pressure building
Right,
until I just could not help anymore. And then
right,
it
right.
just started coming out. Oh,
Yeah,
I can speak it now.
right.
But yeah, I love how you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So how was your first experience like when you spoke it, when you first spoke it?
I definitely am one of the people who have struggled with feeling free enough to share it. Definitely have I probably still have some things in the throat chakra that go, "Yee," like, you know what I mean? Like, not sure we should share this. And so it can take me a moment to kind of get rolling. I practice a bit, like, and I keep trying to use it more in front of clients. And it's funny because I work with a lot of people who are not quite awake yet. So I'm like, I'm gonna do something odd. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so and that's the struggle too, right? Because here I am labeling it for myself that it's odd. And but it's like, how do we bridge the gap? Like,
Ah,
so but yeah, so I definitely still kind of experienced that, and that was definitely part of my first experience. However, at the same time, I had a lot of success with translation and stuff too, like where I really understood what other people were saying. And either it comes in
yes.
very visually, of course, I'm sure many of us feel it in our bodies. And then sometimes, like I said, I get actual words for things, which is really cool. So that's just fascinating in and of itself. And I love listening to see what I can hear.
So the first time that you spoke it, did you like record it, or did you
No,
like, how was the
yeah,
reaction?
and I don't think so, because like, once again, that kind of nervousness and all those feelings.
Yes.
I don't think I was ready to record it. And then I'm trying to remember. I mean, some of the first times I really spoke it was during the class with Richard and Jessica. So I definitely, yeah, we were just interacting one-on-one, and I really wanted to be very conversational with it, like, because I can translate it. So like, I'm always like, let's just chat, like, but a lot of folks get really specific downloads and activations and stuff. So like, it's a little, it just depends person to person or what their comfort level is too, so.
Exactly. The conversation part, I relate with that, that desire, because that's one thing that came up, that we're heading into a time where we will begin to speak to each other in our soul language, in our light language. And
Yeah.
saw all of us in that new energy talking in different dialects, but because it's a universal language, like we all understood each other.
Right.
And so we're getting there. We're getting to that place. Yeah.
We are. Yeah. And now that I've stepped into it more, I see how many more people relate to it, are speaking it, are using it. It's really awesome. So
Yes.
yeah.
So,
And actually, same thing with the ancient languages. I have noticed in shamanic practice or native practices, when they do chanting and stuff, I can translate it. It's like, which is really cool.
oh,
So
that's
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
And
It's really fascinating.
for the listeners, like, I want you to pay attention to the different ways that each person, expresses their codes. There's not everybody does what she does. Like, not everybody even understands the language that are coming out. Like, this is like a gift that she is embodying. She is, that's part of her code. So pay attention to that. And if you're not like someone who has that same thing, it doesn't mean that you have your own code. So,
right. And I can't translate everyone so far either.
Yeah.
Some people speak light language, and I'm like, I don't know what they're saying. But that, maybe that message isn't for me, or who knows,
Exactly.
or it's more energetic in nature than, having specific words that follow. It depends.
Yeah. So, in what ways do you use light language or light codes in your life or in your business, or how do you use it?
Healing for sure. I definitely will have it come in while I'm working. I do a very specific type of healing where I call it inner light healing. It's multidimensional healing. Not that all healing isn't, but I can go in and visualize all of your chakras and your energy fields, and literally see what's there needs to be released, like cords and alien attachments and projections, false light, all sorts of stuff, past life information, traumas. And I go in and I clear those. And so sometimes light language will come in during that. And then also I have found it that it can be an expedited way to do some removals and stuff like that. It's just like, I can say that really quickly instead of like sitting there and visualizing it. And those stupid, like, I call them stupid, but like those little attachments and stuff, they really like hang on there. So like sometimes
they're claw.
Yeah, they do. I literally, some of them have hooks in them and all sorts of stuff. Like they're like Velcro.
Yeah.
Like, get out of there. Like,
just go, get out.
Right, right. And then they slime me on their way out. I'm like, thanks. Like,
no, that's where my guides come in. No, they're not coming close to me.
Right. Oh no,
my
it doesn't stick, but I'm just like, like,
it's still gross.
It is gross.
Like, oh, did you have to do that?
I know. Well,
I love that you do dimensional work, because that's something that, like, more now I'm hearing more people say I'm a multi-dimensional healer, and people are asking like, what is that? Because when you hear, the term healer. People are thinking, oh, my hands are on you, like Reiki, like that's healing, or doing acupuncture, doing massage, like hands-on stuff. And now it's like, oh no, those are healing too. But now let's take it to the other level. Okay, there's
This is
more.
definitely, that's like when I have when I have new clients who haven't had healings before, I'm like, well, this is like Reiki, but it's on steroids. Like,
exactly.
Like it's pretty intense. And yeah, and it's multidimensional because you go through those outer energy fields that are in different dimensional levels. So it's really, it's really amazing. Like,
it is incredible. Like, I'm not, like, every time someone's like, well, why don't you just call yourself a healer? I'm like, well, I do so much more than you can imagine. There's so much more of my work that you cannot even see or even comprehend. That's why you get the fast results that you get. Yeah.
Right.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And then I'll get like for personal activations and stuff like that. Or sometimes if I'm participating in a healing exercise, it'll come in, it'll kind of boost my healing experience. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. So
do you use it on yourself as well?
I do. Not all the time, but like, even just today, kind of prepping myself for today, I'm like, just kind of using some like, and what was I doing? I'm trying to remember the other day I was doing something and I was like, I need help with this. Like, let's do some light language. I don't think I quite said it like that, but I was like, come on, guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, come on, teams in spirit. I need some help with this. And I did, I just kind of let the light language flow. And I was working on self-love in particular. So they were coming in to help with that through light language as well. Opening up my heart, letting my guard down. Oh, it was interesting. They said breaking free of the chains or something, the ties that bind. It was really interesting. That was what came through in the light language. That's how it translated. So it's really, I love it when they come up with those phrases, they use those phrases like that we all know,
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I love it. It's so cool because I do the same thing. I'll say, hey, Council of Light or guides, I need your help with this. And, usually I'll hear like a message, but now that I'm activated in light language, I'll start speaking it. And I'm like, I catch myself like, oh, you're speaking light language. What are you doing? Like, you're hearing yourself and it sounds so like it just flows out. Like that's the best way I can, it just flows out and you just surrender to whatever it is bringing you. Whether you know what you're saying or not, it's still this power.
Still doing its work. Right, exactly.
Oh, all right. So at this point, I would like to invite you. Is there a message coming through for our listeners that you would like to share? And at this point, I'm just going to mute myself so you can do your thing.
Okay. Yeah, I do feel something coming up. So give me a sec. I'll try to tap in a little bit here. Nisha, kidina kishina coaching mana katina. She never juna negative juna juna but you don't make a juna get about Jimana. She did you know look at to make it as you know Jimona Jimona again as you name you with Jimana to Jimana. She might get Jimana Rushwana as you are at Shivana. Kids no hold Jimana, she never won out as Jimona Ginan Vurari Rovara. She get a keparumana Kunoraki, you know, and a Vujinana of Vorana for Gurujumono Gidamoro racket out of whatever them get Burujino. Original Voda. Original Voda get a Voda, Magetta, Shimana Rushun, Gira, Jushuna, Kinarura. Shimana Ujuru, got out Juhuda, Water Juvan, but I go Rakara, Korakakan up Karuchina, Kita, Shimarakita, Voda, Gira, Shubara, Gira, Shubara, that over to Maria Barushimana, Gira. She knows you wanna get out you wanna get you that is you by the vision to make it Shibata. Get out you Peru, Shura, Shura, he's doing it as you would. I get a sure letters you put as you but I get to show another Jumana. She would do what I could get on what I couldn't get out. He didn't get out with a boy, would over when I get a show, no get out of what I get out. They get it when I get out. That's just one of those, but I'm not sure when I get out. Okay, so what that was was actually it was a message of gratitude and thanks. just kind of knowing who your audience is going to be. They're kind of like, they know who's coming. So like, it's a message of gratitude and thanks for all of the hard work. Well, they don't say hard work, right? But like for all of the light that everyone is holding, and all of the efforts everyone's making to kind of, uplift everyone. Like, so it's a huge message of thank you. And there was a little activation in there for the heart chakra. There was kind of a combination of opening the heart chakra, and then also just a reminder or like a little assistance with holding space for what humanity is working through right now. And they actually were showing me that more in an image, like holding the heart up above. Honestly, it was a bunch of people kind of shifting around, like little angry, but but just kind of, holding our hearts up in space above that. But there's so much acknowledgement that we're all doing an amazing job doing that already. So, I like just that feeling of gratitude is just coming in so strongly. But so it's like, hold the heart open, but thank you so much. And, the level, and I think they actually said like the level of acceleration has been unexpected, or like going faster than expected, and the raising of the vibration. So even though it doesn't feel like that in our day-to-day lives, and we're watching what's going on in the news and what our friends, our other friends are saying and stuff like that, they're like, when I first see this message a few times, like they're thrilled, and it's like, okay, we got to up our game. But this was definitely a message of gratitude. So,
Whew. You know what's interesting is that I felt pressure on my forehead when we started, especially on this side. And then as I was listening to it, was like there was a word that came in, but it's like an opening or unleashing, or like removing the lid off of something, if that makes sense. And but it was all right here. It's all right here. And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, and I do think that's like a council elder or something that comes in with that very serious, like commanding voice. Like it's like I'll do like a lighter sing-songy one from time to time, but that was definitely that elder energy.
I felt it. It was precise. It was to the point. It was clear. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
There was one thing No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was always saying.
What I noticed, I could sense, or I could feel the codes of the mantis also in there. Like some of the sounds were coming from there too. Interesting. And then God, it was you elevated to what word came in? It's like queenship. It's like your crown was like put on you. You had like this cape thing, and you sat upright. Like it was really cool.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a word. It's today, but in particular, if you don't mind me saying, has been very much a journey about my purpose or mission, at least for now. And it's become very clear to me that I'm one of my other aspects for sure. And I've been aware of this, but like I'm definitely acting as a new earth ambassador. So, and I'm starting to work more with teens with their spiritual awakenings. And I actually had a very interesting experience today where I connected with babies in the womb.
Yes.
Like all babies. Like it was just gorgeous. I'm like, oh, like, hello. Like, so I was kind of looking at their chakra systems in the womb, and how their chakra systems align with their little fetal bodies. It was like amazing. Yes. But like, and I was kind of like, oh, because they're coming, like it was like, these are your babies, like, and they definitely, I'm not their mom, like, but just that, like, and it's funny because I've had friends call me the mothership and stuff like that, like,
yes, yes.
So like, this is very interesting. So you're saying, mother, I'm like, oh, like the mothership.
Yes. It's so like I just see there's so much. What the other thing that came through is that you're not allowed to hide this gift anymore.
Okay.
Like it was so powerful that
Oh, thank you.
the world needs it. And I'm so
Yeah.
excited for those who will be receiving this and connecting with you. Like, I'm so excited for them to reach out to you and be like, this is what it did for me. Thank you for your message. Like, this is just the beginning for you.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
thank
just
you.
the
Yeah.
beginning for you.
No,
Oh
I
man,
love
like
this
this.
journey, and so thankful for all these gifts that have come in. And like I said, I feel like I've moved really quickly too. So it's like,
Yes.
it's a wild
Yeah.
ride. Like, you know,
Oh man.
so awesome.
What
Awesome.
a journey.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for such a beautiful, beautiful light language message to
My pleasure.
uncork us, like just on, like remove the
Right,
lid.
right. I know it's very
Yeah,
appropriate for the timing too, right? Like it's like a welcome and a thank you and a like, let's get going. Like, you know,
exactly. Yes. So,
so
Larissa, how can the listeners find you and work with you?
absolutely. So my website is larissathera.com, LARISSATHERA.com. You can find me on Facebook under that name. And I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Facebook Messenger, or call me because my number's on the website, or you can message me through the website. So yeah, I'm around if anybody needs a little light language love or a little multi-dimensional healing. I'm your girl.
Yes. Yes. Or activation. I mean, it does all of
Oh
it.
yeah, absolutely. I bring in plenty of activations when it, you know, a lot of folks are moving into activating this interdimensional chakra. I don't know if if we talked about this or if you're aware of this, but like the 8th and 9th chakras drop. So that 8th chakra is what becomes the interdimensional chakra. The 9th chakra drops to the pineal, and then it creates this infinite loop of energy that kind of runs through there. And eventually it connects with the heart as well. And it creates what some people call a golden chalice, which is like what Hathor has. And it's real. So mine is activated, and I can feel all the energy when I'm channeling or receiving messages. It all bounces around within the chalice. It's the wildest thing. It's almost, yeah, it's super cool. So it used to be just I started with solar plexus intuition before I was awakened. Then it came to third eye. Third eye still works, yay! But like,
of course,
you know, but it moved. It expanded into this golden chalice, or this I forget what it's also called, but there's so many names for it.
There are. Yes.
But and yeah, once that's active, it's just the neatest thing, because to feel information come through there and in through the heart, that's just such an amazing feeling. So I've been prepping some of my clients with that. It's like, okay, that's coming. It's not quite ready yet. It's quite a process getting that to come online. So that my guides knocked me out one day to expand it. Like, my daughter helped me clear the pineal. Like, it's just wild stuff. So lots of, it's definitely several. Wow. It takes a process to get those things cleared and online and shifted usually. So it's neat though when it happens. And we're all headed there. We're all headed there.
Yes, yes. Oh, Larissa, thank you so much for your time and for having this divine chat with me and sharing your codes of light with us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Anytime. Thank you.
And listeners.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. Wonderful to meet everyone.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us on this divine chat. And I hope you reach out and let us know how this felt for you. What activated within you as you were receiving the light language? How did you feel? How did it feel in your body? We would love to hear from you, and make sure you connect with Larissa if you felt that pull to work with her and just work with her magic. She's absolutely incredible, as you have experienced yourself. So thank you, everyone. And until next time, from our hearts to yours. Bye.
Thank you.